Good morning, Noah. How you doing this morning? Hope you're doing good. Today we do have some things to go through as far as going up to that weekly expected move pretty early. I mean, I know these shortened trading weeks are kind of like we kind of have time till Friday, we kind of don't because we were one day short. Something we're going to discuss today is actually looking at that Monday move because there was such interesting news over the weekend. So we will look at that. But for today, we're just going to answer the question of or ask the question that really, are we going to land back in these monthly expected moves? And that really has me thinking about how we're getting pretty damn excited here. And we still have a great weekly expected move this week. That is a fantastic weekly expected move. And if we saw that, this could really take care of everything it needs to see some kind of summer rally. Because as of right now, we're looking for the potential to, this thing really just needs to squeeze for the bulls to keep going higher, or else you run into the risk of momentum and seeing something bad actually take place to trail down. So I am watching things very closely in this area and really paying attention to my monthly expected move and weekly expected move right now because I do really, really trust these things and seeing if the market can get a little overextended at this time. The other thing about monthly and weekly expected moves, we will have new monthly expected moves on Patreon this weekend for all the stocks that we do cover on this channel. We will be digging into some of those stocks tonight, actually, for what's going on with them in tonight's YouTube video, and we will have the live stream at the end of the day. So if you want to get learning how to use these weekly and monthly expected moves, there is a course down in the description, the full technical analysis course. It's 80% off only for 3 more days, so you have to get it pretty much before this weekend. Usually I like to extend it over the weekend, so don't feel rushed or anything like that. And you're welcome to ask questions here on this channel while we are live. That is a fantastic place to do it. Going into the 30-minute chart, something that I'm really I keep staring at it, and I don't like to use extended hours very often, but I extend this out and I see this guy right here, and I just go, that is too close to exactly where we need a retest. So we're seeing if that can just continue right now and just see some kind of blow off kind of moment where it just wipes out any forms of divergence. But as it stands, we still have those inclinations right now, right? We still see there are giving ways higher, so we can continue to head up right now is what it's overall saying. But when we lose these type of levels, so I'm really going to be watching this level of about 589.50 very closely, because if we're not able to hold up in there and see a new high, but instead we make a lower one, we could start to head down back into this area. If we start to lose these lows, I would be worried about a little bit lower to maybe take care of that gap at this point. And then if we lose that low, we know how we go down from here. I'm talking about if something bearish were to take place here, but there is nothing bearish about this right now. And even if you pull it to regular hours, there is nothing bearish about this right now. You can get a 30-minute pullback and it would be perfectly fine. The only thing that we're seeing is this 5-minute is starting to create a ton of divergence. So we were talking about this at the end of the stream yesterday. What do you need to see today, bulls, to keep going in that upward direction to maybe get to 598? You got to blow up. You got to blow up. You have to see this thing wipe out these divergences in here. And really, if you're talking about it, you need a strong enough move to push your RSI, I would say at least past this level to continue the move. You need to see that so that you can start to make more of those divergences later on, okay, for the pullback that will come. There's always going to be a pullback. It's just a matter of when. So looking at the 5-minute chart, we need to see a little squeeze here in the morning to have no risk of seeing some kind of turn down throughout the day. And that's how I'm viewing it at this point. But for me, as far as making a decision goes, I will be looking for those 30-minute pullbacks. Let's go through a few of the individual stocks. Apple, still not through the critical level. We will watch if it does. And still, what are we going to look for then? Well, the retest, we don't know if this is going back to bullish yet because Apple hasn't crossed through that high like everything else. So Apple is still at risk of rejecting at any time and just turning down and actually rolling and losing that low, or at least testing the buyers down in this area. And if you see it swing back up, hey, that could be divergence. That could be high or low here for the 30-minute. Apple has not broken through the high, so we will talk as if it can reject until it shows us a peak above that high. Then we can talk about it differently. Maybe you could keep me aware of it if you are attracted to Apple in these areas. Tesla. We did discuss Tesla being able to continue to what? Well, we were suggesting something like 365. It has gotten to 365. but it's gotten there in quite a quick fashion. I'm almost tempted to look at this on extended hours and go, okay, where's the level we need to hold above? Okay, we need to hold through this area right here to remain really good. And then for the time being, we can see that with our regular practices that we normally do, just considering extended hours now. I'm not going to use them all the time. I like this. The 30-minute could still do something like this before it's able to turn down. Kind of some volatility comes in. We could keep that nice and tight if we wanted to. But for the time being, if you cross down a 2-hour chart here, that is a terrible look. You have extreme divergence, but you are not even close to turning that down yet. So this is still bullish for Tesla on every time frame that I'm looking at. Very difficult to break down. Amazon able to do what? Something that Apple couldn't. Able to take out that high, which means even if it pulls back, it could go all the way down into this right here. All the way down into this right here. Maybe not right there. So right in here is where we would say, hey, if it's going to give me the opportunity and pull back instead of squeezing as you go into resistances, we could actually see this fall down into this area and then be able to scoop up and get that going. If this is going to get ugly, you're going to lose this, and then the only thing that can hold you up is this little wick in here. So if you see it peek its head below here, you have to start to think, what? Oh, that is reversing, and we're looking for a retest of that type of area. Okay, so this is a critical thing I'm watching for Amazon. Nvidia, as we look at Nvidia, we have an earnings coming up. And what do I think happens with earnings? I think Nvidia initially will see upside. I think Nvidia will initially see upside. It'll gap up or something like that, and then we will see that thing fade, maybe even going for a deeper pullback into these areas before it's able to come back to the upside again. If it's able to remain very bullish, then I still see a gap, a fade to retest, and then we do not break this low and we turn to the upside again, and that's when we go up and up and up in June for Nvidia. I do not play earnings. I believe they are overall a 50-50 flip with not much edge, but I am leaning towards the bulls for the initial reaction. The 30-minute here for AMD. AMD has a funky look to it. And so really it only had to take out these levels, and it did that. And now it can pull back into those areas to head higher, or it can even show you the way higher first and then do it based on the structure over here. We could still see this right shoulder later on. So we'll look out for what? Some potential smaller time frame divergences, but the next opportunity I see for AMD should be a 30-minute pullback. If you start to lose lows and we experience something really, really bad, well, not really seeing that on the table right now, but maybe we'll go check volatility after we get through a few more. Meta, as we look at Meta this morning, we see that the 30-minute is crossed up into positive territory like a lot of other things, right? Just because we're really focusing on the high doesn't mean you can't take into consideration your technicals here. This is above the center line. This is pretty good above the center line right now. But you see, what are we doing for Meta? Are we able to peak our head above any critical level at this point? Well, you'd at least want to take out this one. This one's good. This one's better. This one's great. And as of right now, you've only taken out the good. So you do have the opportunity to turn down here, create that right shoulder in some way, and that would be fantastic for Meta. If you lose that low, watch for retest because you're heading down. Microsoft, nice little breakout to the upside for Microsoft. The 30-minute here suggesting this is very likely to continue. And we can take that into consideration with all of our other analysis that we did do. We did take out the critical level. We want to go up. And your MACD is so positive, and you're starting to do what? Violate those divergences that were created. You're violating those. So that means look for this to extend. It potentially can extend. And if it gives you a 30-minute pullback, that is an overall good thing. Look for those reversal signals. Google, we see that overall, very, very good from Google. And then it started to get bad for a second. And now you're kind of in that middle area of like, it could be bad, but is that really that bad going into these buyers? It could be good, but is that really that good? Is it going to just go into these sellers? We need to see that new high and probably a retest before we can feel comfortable with this one, at least in my mind, for a trade setup. It looks very tight and choppy to me. AMC, a lot of people asking about AMC. We told you this is the level where short sellers or retail will get their cheeks clapped. And as of right now, it is holding the 390 level. It is holding $4. That is a very, very good thing for AMC. You want that to continue. I don't think you even want to see a 30-minute cross down. But if you do, I would say you don't want to lose all of this. All of this bullishness needs to remain. We can dip into here, we can dip into here, but you don't want to dip past these levels, in my opinion. GME put out a purchase of Bitcoin this morning, able to curl down on a 30-minute. Remember, GME is different from AMC. AMC, I just want to go. GME, once again, as long as these things are holding price, they can move overall sideways. You just don't want to lose the critical buying, like all of the buying. I don't think you want to lose one of these legs. So don't lose the entire leg. Remain above this zone and you're good. Below that, I think we start to potentially downtrend. Okay, so if we start to break these type of levels of 32, I would just say 32 on the dot. It's going to be kind of interesting there because that means that GME is not going to go up, and it does have earnings coming around the corner. So maybe it ends up turning down. You are not at the booty cheek level just yet. 39.08 is the level that GME needs to break through to overall be bullish. We see that it is outside of the monthly expected move, but able to remain out there as of now. If you want this to squeeze, you want this to squeeze right now, in my opinion. You want this to keep going, raise that floor, and never lose a set of buyers, in my opinion. DJT, overall, very, very good to start off. Remember, these things can be quick. We're not looking for some kind of get rich quick. We're looking for a signal for a great trade. And right in here, you had a great signal for a great trade. This heads up. DJT goes to the upside. DJT goes up, up, up and away all the way to $27, which is the call strike that I called out. And we see resistance as they, I believe, dilution or some kind of share offering or something like that did take place. And right when you think, oh, it's over, well, this thing is going to go retest on the 30-minute here, probably of like 25.15 if I had to guess. Okay, so DJT overall, hey, dump because of that. You have to understand with these smaller stocks, DJT, AMC, GME, there is always the risk of dilution, and that is seen as downside initially, but it is not a bad thing for a company that wants to buy more Bitcoin to dilute some stock to buy more. It's once the dilution gets overextended, and you don't have that for DJT, so I don't see this as being a long-term bad thing. But if we look at the daily chart, it could go down to make what? The right shoulder that could have been. DJT never made, I guess this is good enough. DJT never made the right shoulder that could have been. And so using our classic support and resistances that we used before, we can see that it crossed through this, but it never came back. So we would like DJT to come back and test this zone again to actually go higher, and that would create that right shoulder that could have been way, way back. That would be fantastic for GME. So I'm not inclined to believe that this is some kind of massive turnaround right now. I think that it could get a rejection from here and actually turn down, is what I see for the time being. We'll see if it changes. SoFi, very, very nice for SoFi to try to get going here, but SoFi is slow right now. So I am seriously paying attention to the sellers right in this area. We need to wipe those out for me to continue to hold on to this. I need to see heightened pricing. I need to see really this taken out for me to be like, yes, I am willing to hold that. I do have a longer dated out options for this, for it to potentially get above $14. That would be fantastic. You do have 30-minute, not necessarily divergence, a higher low, just as good, really close to the center line. And we already took out this high. So what do we invite? Retests. Retests are perfectly fine here. We just don't want to lose that low for SoFi. As far as it goes for management of the trade, it would say you're kind of holding on here as far as it goes. So I'm just going to take profit if I'm uncomfortable with the trade at any time. That's how I like to do things. As of right now for Palantir, this is not bad. This is not bad at all for the 2 hour to get down by that center line. It's just bad if you see something like this, grab it and just wipe it all out. But if you're paying attention to price action, you see higher lows and you finally made that new high, right? We're in that area where it's like, oh, are we going down or going up? And then you end up taking this out and this out. That's really, really good. So Palantir should say good things here is really, really interesting to me. That means Palantir should get a curl up of this 2 hour and at least attempt to go fill that gap at 129.50. We've gotten through a lot of these. Gold as well with the 2 hour crossing down. Is that bearish? No, it is not. This is overall the way that we actually flipped back to bullish on gold. And this is why I have some questions about this run right now. One of those pieces is GLD. Why is GLD overall not making a new low here and going to go down? Well, that means that it might actually end up going up. And if it ends up going up, well, why are people flying into gold again all of a sudden? That's going to be a bad thing for the dollar at this point again. And that adds up to some problematic things. With the market. And so we're going to be aware of downside risk, but we're still overall bullish at this point. Thank you guys for listening to my full breakdown of a lot of things this morning. Sorry I wasn't looking at chat too much during all of that, but I wanted to give you guys a bunch of takes real quick to start off your day. Okay, we're good to go. We are good to go there. We're good to go here. AMC as of right now dropping down. I noticed that. GME not necessarily seeing the most positivity. DJT trying to come back. And then we have, I do want to look at the SPY on the 5-minute chart here. And we are rejecting as of right now, it seems. We will see if that continues. Using the extended hours over here just to keep track of them. Yeah, we reached up to the sellers again just now from the pre-market. I got to keep my eye on... Gotta see if I gotta sell any AMC options or anything like that. Doesn't seem like I need to. Small divergences there. Break that low, we go downtrend for a bit. And AMC, you just don't want to lose. Like 362 is critical, but I think there's a lower level that's pretty critical. 334. 334 would be starting to get rough. Okay, looking at the SPY on the 5-minute chart, something I will be paying attention to here is, I really want to take a deep look at this and look at this and go, okay, if we only go to there and we just reject off right away and we fade this move this morning, we might be in downtrend for most of the day. So we need this to squeeze. You want this to squeeze right now above the weekly expected move. That's what you want for the SPY. All right, going into the chat now. Good morning, guys. Hope you guys are hanging out with me today to look at some information here. Hope you guys are having a good one. Hope you have some luck today with your plays. Hope you have some 3 to 5 reasons to take those plays. I think that's a fantastic thing at this point. I found that when SPY goes up, gold goes down, and the opposite is true. That is true a lot of the time. Yes, that is the somewhat flight to safety, something that won't lose value when they expect that the individual stocks will lose value, right? It's kind of like, if I think the market is risky, I could go into gold. If I think assets are risky, I could go into gold. And eventually you do see somewhat of a negative correlation, yes, with the SPY to GLD. You got a spam timeout? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's GME go. A lot of people interested in those these days. 4710 Bitcoin purchase, only thing confirmed. As of now, let's see. When's the last time like AMC was at this level? Let's try to do this. I'll do this for a little bit here. Right there. Oh, okay. Yeah, once again, once it gets to those type of levels and then turns down, it's usually a little bit of a problem. Let's see here. Here you made a divergence. Maybe you make one here. No divergence for AMC. Yeah. I think this is I think this time around might be my leave the option. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero, but it's still very, very profitable right now. The great thing, it's just good money. That's why I'm looking at it. It's up like 400%. Okay, done with that one. Let's go look at Tesla. Yeah, Tesla giving that fade too, that 5-minute fade. It like showed the way higher, so 30-minute pullback would be nice here for Tesla. All right, as it stands, look at that. We are extending. You need to squeeze. You need to squeeze past this high. Getting up to here is okay. I want to see it break that too. I want to see a big squeeze here if we're going to go positive. What up, Ta? Hope you're having a good day, Ta. I see Bernie's in here too. What's up, Bernie? Richard's here. Mark's here. The two besties, heel toes here with Richard. You know, they log in at the same time every single day. They sync up. Oh yeah, I need to take a peek at volatility real quick. See how volatility though is overall suggesting like, hey, the 30-minute wants to turn down again. The lowest point I wanted to get to for volatility was like 1869, I think. And we're almost there. Oh, shit, I'm getting some lag over here. Okay, we're good. So this is where you don't really want to see this complete move fade and see that low taken out. Now you have a distinguished low. So now you need to hold this right here. You start to lose that, you start to downtrend and test into like these buyers or even go all the way back into our zone towards 584. The middle of the zone would be right about 584. We're the same person. You're the guy from Split. Tom, I'm gonna have to get your video popped up for me this morning, Tom. I'll have to get that a view. We do see the squeezing beginning. We'll see if it can end. It's like, even though you could violate all this, you still want to be aware of when it makes it again very quickly. Like weekly expected move, 592.92. Anything right there. It's just too much. You need a 30-minute pullback first. Like I said, you usually want the squeezes to kind of, if they're going to end the week in a squeeze, you want to see those things like breaking out of weekly expected moves Thursday, Friday. You would like the weekly expected move here to be resistance to cause a 30-minute pullback to then end the week overall in a bullish stance on Friday. That can continue upside pressure throughout the next week. That's kind of what you want to see. I think you could fill it this week, to be 100% honest with you. I think you could fill it this week. The timing of this is really fast. So if you do this, you're telling me that that's Wednesday, and then you're telling me like what? Maybe we do this, maybe, but you're like, this is Wednesday. Is this going to be Thursday? And then is this going to be Friday? Right? You have big moves, by the way. Yeah, just so you're aware, you have some big ass moves today compared to other days. So I would expect some kind of volatility around FOMC. And the 10-year looks like it wants to turn around with the higher low, by the way. We didn't talk about this morning, but look at this. You go down, right? We go down. We don't necessarily have divergence anymore, right? We don't necessarily have that divergence. But what do you have? Potential price action that's trying to come back. We're getting this fight right now between bulls and bears. You're not able to make a new high. You're not able to make a new low. So you're kind of in between here. You would lean towards what? The rolling. But as you're not breaking any kind of low, it's not really heading down lower. So watch out if we get a reaction here. This would be the 4-hour lower high scenario here. And that means the 4-hour is going to turn up. We're going to go up, up, up. And then we're going to get some data or something Thursday into Friday that turns us back down. And this is where we'll watch TLT, because that means TLT could be in an interesting spot here. It could come down to like $84 and then turn up into positive territory again. And that would be very, very nice for TLT to kind of just see this flash move down and flash back up. It would be rejecting from the center of this area. I'm not saying it's like the best in the world, but that's what it would look like. So we just have to keep track of things. We just have to be on our toes just a little bit. But overall, we're doing the things we need to do right now to remain bullish. That is squeeze. Look at this. I told you that's what needs to happen. That is happening. So if that is happening, then we most likely do continue positivity throughout the day today. I would be looking at if anything like this again shapes up, right? And then we start to break that low and you see that successfully retest and go down, that's when we'll flip this thing. But this could squeeze all the way up. Let's see if it can get to daily expected move. That would be like best case scenario for bulls. So I would think that you could fill yesterday's gap like this week, but if you squeeze, like I would say, if you squeeze confidently past that weekly expected move, I'm talking like 596, then you have the shot of like not filling that gap for a couple of weeks or maybe even months, right? If we go all-time high at that point. So you're just in a crazy, crazy bullish time. Very, very nice though for the 5 minute to do it. The 5 minute has done what we needed to do. It is still holding some form of divergence with the highs here. But other than that, it's saying I'm going to potentially continue because it just took out this one, right? Kind of like price action. We make a new high, we come down, we retest, and then we try to make that new high again and burst through with a bigger squeeze. But if we just see something like this, we'll start to look for down again. All right, very, very nice to take this out. This gives the edge a little bit back to bulls, but bears are still saying that the momentum, the fear is not gone in this area. The momentum is telling you that people are hesitating. You're half my view. Richard's just starting like 100 accounts to watch the live stream. QQQ. Let's go look at Qs. Did they do it too? I think they had some setup. Yeah, you look at this and you just go, wow. Though the Qs are saying like, we are going to extend this move at least one more time. We're going to have to make this more significant with like another push in some way to show like that. Right? Unless it just keeps going, man. Just keep going. But I think you're going to see something like that at the weekly expected move soon. And then we'll start to see like downtrend. And then we'll see volatility with FOMC. See what happens with Nvidia. Yeah, VIX on the 5 minute, you're just wiping everything out too. So this is saying that the bulls are doing what they need to do right now. They need it to continue for the time being. I think you want to see a little bit more, or at least a pullback, fill gap, and then go again. Just want to see this 5 minute for a little bit. Go click on things, click on other things on my other screen. 10-year is trying to break to the upside. It is not causing anything really that bad in the market as of right now. You just have like a little inclination of weakness of momentum now with that little squeeze. You would most likely see one more push from that. We'll see how this PCC opens up in a bit. Dollar looking like it wants to turn around. You know what? What else? US oil. Let's go. I'm going to go look at that for a second because if that says it wants to turn around, then these yields have a good chance. Okay. What about 4? Oh. 4-hour higher low. Pretty much consolidating. Showed path higher. Stop the path lower. Looks like oil might see some kind of upward move here. Looks like a little, what is that? Like a little 4% move or something? Yeah, 3% move from oil looks like maybe coming. So oil, dollar, and yields go up same time? That'd be kind of weird. Actually, no, that makes sense, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whew. Nice. Show your way higher. Show your way higher, then pull back, actually. Show your ways higher in the morning here. Pull it back dramatically. Everyone shits their pants. Oh, thank you for the blessings. Everyone shits their pants. And then everyone gets shaken out before we get some kind of a little more rally here to maybe even go all-time highs. If we hold up like this, we could go all-time highs before we actually take care of any gaps. down here. We could literally go all the way up here into July. And then we could literally pull back all of July. A 30-minute pullback would be fucking great. This is trying to continue with price action. You have to lose this low now to be bearish with price action, or cross down this MACD and just go straight negative. You want to see a quick retest here if you're bullish. Quick retest for like 10, maybe 15 minutes. I would say 10 minutes. And then you want to see that go right back up and make a new high. If you start to lose this, you start to look for retest to go lower. This market's resilient though, so we'll pay attention to both sides all the time. Gosh dang, those daily expected moves are far away. Into July. There you go. So AMC as of right now losing the 390, going into those buyers I was talking about towards that 360, 362, 363. Actually, it's 363. And I think it stopped at around 365. So that's good for now. You want that to flip right back up. You don't want to see anything that could be, you want that to be a liquidity grab, right? Grab some stuff, go up. You don't want that to stay down very long. GME took care of its, oh wait, it almost took care of its gap. It went back into its gap. I don't think it fully took care of it. Once again with GME, you want that to be quick. GME could go all the way down to like, no, once you lose 32, it's too rough. Can't lose 32. I don't like losing 32, so it needs to just be a liquidity grab. Fred's from Peru. Hi, Fred. Where's Fred? Oh, there's Fred. Oh, Fred, you're from Peru. I didn't know you're from Peru. That's dope. Nvidia party today? Hell yeah. Let's see if this was a trap. Like, right? This still has some inclination of being a trap here. I mean, it did take out that level, though. Let's not cheat. Let's make sure we connect these and say we did take out that level. So this would be, hey, it didn't beat this high, though. Still a form of weakness, but I think you could see one more continuation here. If this is some kind of grab. If we start to confirm down on our MACDs, we start to pay attention if this low is broken and we go, uh-oh, we might be heading to what? Oh, a downward trend. At least a downward trend maybe until FOMC. Let me see. Is volatility doing it? Okay, volatility did set a 30-minute rejection divergence. Show you guys that RSI real quick right here. It does say that there are some chance here. There's some chance here as we dip down into my area, right in here. This area right here is what I was watching. 1880 all the way down to like 1869, I think it is. And we just tagged that 1880. So this is an interesting point where you can see a 2-hour reaction. Now, what would the 2 hours suggest to look out for? Rejections, okay? Look for rejections here, rejection in the big bar. It would say maybe a 2-hour move comes, right? We'll see if it actually does first. It's not here yet, but that is something I'm watching at this point. And this will be told to us in a 5-minute chart if we start to make that downtrend. These are the first breaking down inclinations that 2-hour on volatility can ramp up, and maybe the 2-hour 30-minute for the SPY can turn down. As of right now, though, price action very, very strong. You have a meaningful divergence on both your MACD and RSI at the same time right now. So this is a time to just be aware if that confirms. If this is a liquidity grab, then you should see that wick back up, right? We should never see this low broken if we're going to remain bullish throughout the morning here. Nvidia looks like it's going to break out. Let me look at my other charts just to keep this on a 5-minute here so we're aware. Oh, but if it fails here, that's what I'm saying. The 30-minute could reject here. It already did what it needs to do. Now, if you could, before earnings, go grab like 131 all the way to gap fill at 131. That'd be great. Go grab 131, turn back up, and see some good things for earnings, right? Or that's going to be bad, right? Because you're making the potential like 2-hour lower high. if the 2-hour just completely reverses the move and you make a new low, it's not necessarily good. You're hoping for earnings to save that bad boy. Yeah, you need to see that new high. If you don't make that new high there, it would suggest lower, but I still have the inclination of a positive reaction first and then a fade, but maybe that's all like done overnight. I really thought we'd get a bigger big spike than we got. We still can. You can. You just have to give up all of this. You have to give up all of it. You have to give up this. To get that massive reaction where you get like a daily curl up, extended curl up for quite some time, you literally could go like bam, bam, bam. And then we could not be done at that point, right? We could not even be done at this point, and we could end up going like up like this, and then you curl down again, and you see two big ass legs down into what? 550. That's how you break down. That's how this breaks down over time, like something like this, right? But these moments in here will be like, okay, can we hold up better? This moment right here will be like, okay, are we done? Right? So we'll pay attention to those because those could completely change. This could just be a retest. That's not necessarily like this is not the most probable thing right now. We're talking about if it were to become possible, that's what you would see. You would see us break these type of levels and then get a reaction up. And then you would see us break these type of levels, get a reaction up, and then you would break down, get a little corrective move up, and then you would crash down in 2 waves, in my opinion. So, and you notice how much like drawing that was? That's a ton of work, right? You have to say that is a ton of work to break this thing down. So it is much easier for the market to just go dink, right? Just bink into there and go up. We'll look at how positive or negative the 30-minute is. We'll keep our eye on volatility. There you go. This should just be a retest. You don't want to confirm down here if you're a bull. You want this to just be a retest and go up again. Let's buy there. Yo, what's up? AMC's going to my like line in the sand right now. Stop it. Stop it. Bad AMC. Ooh, TLT, solid gap down. You could see TLT going all the way back down to 83.88. That would be good. Gap fill would be good. Kind of want it to, yeah, gap fill would be good. 1 minute divergence. Oh yeah, hang on to everything. Come on down to 2. Richard just wants to make money. Richard's greedy. He's like, AMC could solve world hunger and he'd still bet against it because it's his play right now. I don't get how world hunger, like, I feel like there's enough rich people where we could solve that whole world hunger thing and we just waste food in our country. I don't know about yours, but I feel like we could solve that problem pretty quick if people just like, actually wanted to. just a random topic for the day. How's IWM looking? I can go flash over to that for a moment. IWM's in the same scenario. Man, you look at these 30 minutes, you want a 30-minute pullback. And even aggressive ones, that's fine. IWM, you look at this 30-minute, you want a pullback, even an aggressive one, that's fine. Like, you can literally take care of gap and not lose anything too meaningful and still have what? The right shoulder that could have been left head, right shoulder, right? So I just don't see it as being like super bearish, but I do see it as like potential downside risk for a little bit of time here, maybe a day, like one whole trading session of just down, maybe another one in the morning to trap, and then you get a big move. So that would be the most likely thing here. So IWM coming back down to a price point about 203 all the way to gap fill towards 202.50. That would be what I see. And as long as it's not losing this, it's fine, right? It can come test these buyers too. It can come all the way back down to here if it wants, but you just don't want to lose the bottom of that. That starts to do what? Oh, we're going to see a flush, and then we're going to retest and flush again. So I think it's the same scenario across the board for the indices. Actually, I mean, I could go look at DIA as well. Yeah, look at this, same scenario, right? We took this out. Did we get the retest in pre-market? Is that enough? Or do we need to go get that right now, come into this area, and then see support come in? You don't have to gap fill here. But we're going to watch this 5 minute and see if it, ooh, wait a second. We're starting to break down. Nope, not a quick retest. We needed to see buyers. We need buyers like in the next 8 minutes. We need buyers. And you're very likely to find those buyers actually as of right now. So we'll see. Let's see, that PCC came out pretty bullish. 0.78 as the reading is right now. IWM starting to roll a little bit here. DJT barely showing pathway higher and trying. Oh, fucking SoFi, you're just bugging me right now. SoFi. I don't know if SoFi, it just made a lower high. Looks like it's going to go for its retest, maybe even down to like 1280. Oh, nothing yet. You need to see buyers come in, man. Ooh. You are really reaching down to the bottom of those. If this is showing up on the MACD and RSI at the same time now, watch if that low breaks. We can curl down a MACD. I'd rather curl down a MACD and not lose the low than curl down a MACD, lose the low, right? Yeah, I think you can see a move down first for CLT. We'll find out. But yeah, if you're longer dated out, I don't think it's like horrible. It's my lower high on the daily possible. This is the first high. This is not a lower high. This is the first high in a trend. This was already a lower high for the daily. So you just took out a lower high. This was your lower high. This is not a lower high. This is a whole different sequence. If this breaks down, it will be considered like a weekly lower high. If this breaks down, this would be a weekly lower high. So yes, and I know I'm getting nitpicky. That's kind of nitpicky. I'm sorry for nitpicking on you, Pablo. Yeah, that's kind of nitpicky. I think you're right either way, but yeah, just for the language, that's important. Like calling this a lower high right now in the sequence on the daily is a little rough, but on the weekly chart, you are definitely correct there. Quit picking on him. I'm sorry. I kind of did, didn't I? I'm sorry, Pablo. I was like, no. I realized like halfway through, I was like, I'm being a prick right now. I'm really just nitpicking. I'm sure I kind of understood. I was like, you're right. I think you're right. Like, I think I know what you're talking about. Hims to 45. Well, let's get on the daily chart first. I'm telling you, that 5 minute, you better get going. I'll look at Hims on my other screen real quick. Let me take a peek, see if anything's interesting. I'm going to get out of SoFi for a bit. I'm not confident in it. It's not making me feel warm and fuzzy inside, so I'm going to get out. I don't care if I'm out of the play. I'll take my 10% and run. Let's see here. The risk to reward play, by the way, at that weekly expected move is going to be on soon. All right, there's your dip down on the buyers. We didn't lose the buyers. What was I looking at? Hims? Ooh. Actually, this is where Hims might try to turn around. To go retest something like $60. A retest of $60 would be cool. And then you fail and you turn down. You have 30-minute divergence forming, not confirmed yet. So yeah, if you confirm that 30-minute divergence, I think you go retest $60. If you make a new low below 51.26, I think you just see a smaller roll up, maybe to like 54, and then you keep going down to break the next key level. The breaking the next key level would be 49. Once you break 49, let's look at what kind of pullback that would be. 2-hour retest here, 2-hour retest here. If that fully came back, that'd be insane. Oh yeah, okay. $44 is like the best area for that to get to. I would like $44. It could go all the way down though. It could go all the way down to 31.20 if it really wants to, but I'm inclined to look at that big buyer bar right around $44 to $45. If you continue to break down, that's where I'd be looking. Shit, I gotta pee. I gotta pee real quick, guys. I'll be right back. 2 seconds, Turkish. Get this set up over here. Buyers need to step in right now. Let's see. I'll see when I come back. Be right back. You're being mean. Sorry, Ed. Oh, Tevlar, you caught the Snatch reference? Bro, Snatch is a great movie. If you haven't watched Snatch yet, you have to go watch Snatch. It's like one of the best freaking movies ever. It's one that I'll watch like once every 2 years. It's so good. You like dogs? You like dags? Yeah, I guess I do like dogs. Man, Nvidia, I really am inclined to believe upward move first, but the way the market's shaped up, Nvidia really wants the 30-minute pullback. So I think sporadic move up, and then you see the big fade. That's my assessment. That is like if I really want to dictate, like, hey, does that have any meaning behind it? Yes, it does. But I've always experienced earnings as just like 50-50 flips, man. I don't play earnings often because I don't think they're obvious plays. If they're obvious, they're going to be the golden setup like Apple gave me the last time I took an Apple earnings. That's it. Right? That is it. So I wouldn't hold a lot of weight to that type of analysis, but I think the opportunity is still on a 30-minute pullback, whether it sees a gap up and fade first or not. That's right, Monumental. It's so good. Feed you to the pigs. All right, buyers, you're trying. You're playing with fire right now, bulls. You need to step in. You need to step in. You bought yourself another 5 minutes with that little bar right there. But it's starting to add up to uh-ohs. We don't want to see uh-ohs, right, bulls? You want to see up, 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 and away. Indecision inside bar. Uh-oh, consolidation on the 1-minute chart. Screw those bulls. Hey, that's rude. All right, now we're looking for a negative bar below that 9. That adds some risk to losing that low. So you need to see positivity here, bulls. You got to see it like in the next like 5 minutes. You got to see it on this bar, I think. Go, shorty. It's your birthday. And now you do have a solid red bar above, so you're not even through it if you see positivity. You could make lower high now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, right here. I know what you're looking at, Mr. Perfect. I know what you're looking at. You're looking like you're like best case right here. Oh, right there. Oh yeah. That's what you're looking at. You're like that big red bar. Go up and just see that go wick, and then you go, oh yeah, we're gonna break that low. Man, gotta have some balls to take it at this point right there, but you do have the divergence on the MACD and RSI actually at the same time, and it didn't violate the two main points. Wait, did you? Yeah, you did. You violated one of them. There were like 3 points, and you violated this one, which made it more extreme, so you can extend for a bit. But that is a little bit of a wipeout there. Hey, AJ, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you being here this morning. Try to do this. That way I can see when people subscribe and stuff. I just create more content engagement, right, Lucas? It just it actually is critical to watch. But yes, people do watch 5 minutes and 1 minute charts more. This is just a time where I really want to figure out. I don't think you understand also like how hard this area is to call. Like, is to be like, yes, this is bullish. Yes, this is bearish. This is one of the hardest times, right? Down here, we were like, okay, this could flip to bullish. It flipped to bullish, right? We saw it coming. This is like, okay, we're risking a downward like 30-minute pullback, but also that 30-minute pullback could just dump with the kind of information we have coming out over the next couple trading sessions, right? We have GDP tomorrow that's supposed to come out negative. Negative. Like, come on. We have Nvidia earnings that could be good. It could be bad, right? And then at the same time, the other direction, but it could be good. And if it's good, well, then this 30-minute can extend. It's not crazy overbought or anything like that. It can extend the move. So this area is literally like, what the hell is going on here? And the way to figure out what's going on here is to be like, all right, let's look a little tighter. Let's see what we lose, and then we can make direction, right? You'll still hear me say I'm not going to take a day trade with this. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. I'm not day trading. I think it is good, me as a position trader who likes to use 30 minutes as the lowest time frame, it is still good for me to try to figure out where is my next setup going to be. And is that setup going to be, hey, we're going to, go up and just go sideways for a little bit to go up higher? Or is that setup going to be, hey, we're going to go up, then fade the entire move to actually pull back to 584? That tells me a lot about it, and that gives me preparation. I don't want to go into a trade like, oh, I woke up in the morning, I see this and go. No, I want to wake up, understand the timings that this is adding up to so that I can prepare and say, okay, at 584, how am I going to react? Am I going to risk to reward that level? Am I just going to find that level and see if that curls up, see if I get basing out structure, see if I make an upward trend? That's kind of the ideas you have to do there. This is such an interesting time for the market. You keep hearing me say that because 2025 has been some of the most interesting behavior I've ever seen. And now you literally have the chance to go to what? All-time highs if you squeeze from here. But at the same time, we have the chance to pull back to 584 before that. And if we pull past 584 and drop other critical levels, you could go all the way down and fill those gaps before you make the new all-time high. That's how many different things are going on here. So you're paying attention to a 5-minute to suggest like, okay, are we remaining bullish? Or when is that pullback going to come? And now you're starting to see a little inclination of, ooh, this could be that FOMO kind of move right now. That FOMO buying. Oh yeah, I don't want to miss out. So you see a burst. And then it just fades. And then it breaks the low. And then it retests. And then it breaks the low again. And then you're like, okay, so I'm paying attention to 584. Right? The GDP could like be very good or very bad. Remember, the GDP wasn't great last time, but it was in some way positive where it was supposed to be negative. At least I think that's what happened. Or like wasn't as negative as expected. And it's used as good news again to keep a squeeze going. That's what I'm saying. You have to see what the actual, like, how that reaction would create the narrative for what's going on next. Not now, because now's already happened. Not previously, that's already happened. Now is where people already know something you don't, so you try to figure it out now, and then you see the justification to understand what it's for. Yeah, it's always price action, then news. This, then news. Signals, then news. And then the times where news causes like a reaction, you just make more money because it will. Someone knows about it. There is a hint out there. 95% of the time, there's a hint. It's just, do we understand those hints? Very good though. Yeah, if this is a retest time for AMC, it can go all the way down to $3. Ooh, ooh. We're really rounding out here. We're trying to hold, hold, hold. This is like the only way. This is your bar that says, hey, maybe we go down. This is the bar right here. It literally says, maybe we go down now. That one says, we could go down here. That's what this bar says right here. So then you look for what? Break of the low, and then a retest. Go wham, whoop, whoa. It'll kind of be like this. So yeah, bulls didn't step in. So you're starting to open up the door already with your indicators that you can break that low. I think if you break that low, you're saying potential downtrend, like high potential, high probable downtrend on the 5 minute. It still won't lose that, will it? Damn. Close 365, literally like right on the edge. I think like 362 is as low as you can go, and it just won't close below there. AMC's trying its best, but if it dumps with the market here, that would be interesting. GDP, what else do we got? Don't we got like PCE? So we have FOMC minutes today. We have GDP tomorrow and initial jobless claims. Auction going on. Fed talk at the end of the day. Just some guys. Personal income, personal spending on Friday, and the core PCE. All important things. Personal income supposed to go down, and personal spending supposed to go down even lower. Ooh. Oh my god, why are they talking about? Why is Roaring Kitty trending? Yeah, he's not bad guy. I can't believe this whole banana thing. I'm like, okay. Then these things are going to go down by like 20% over the next like 2 days, and then everyone will stop talking about it. 10-year bond auction. Ooh. What up, Jonna? How's it going? I think Nvidia is a massive piece to the puzzle today, yes. I love that the dogs are trained to like go home. Like you buy them and then they go to your house and then they're trained to go home. That's the funniest part about the dogs. You pay for it and then it's trained to go back so that someone else can buy it. Solid business idea. You never run out of product. The margin is insane. Richard, my call is still up 250%. And I'm still degenning. So Inappropriate agent personified in this case by horrible. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna get this is kind of like burning the shorts still. You do have confirmations of down, so we want to see if that low's broken, but you're spending a lot of time in here for these buyers to just soak things in. Then you can just see one snap, and then the only thing that you're looking for the downward move is right here, because you're technically in downtrend right now. So if you get a retest there and it fails, and you just go bink, bink, that could be a little bit ugly. But we'll have to see. It's the failure of the new high tells you we start to go lower. Let's see if IWM does give us a little 5-minute hint there. Whoa, that's bleeding. You see how IWM's doing it? Come on, IWM. You lead the way, buddy. We'll follow. Spy is going to... Hopefully Spy follows. This would be just fantastic to see. We'll keep our 5-minute going, man. Like we can still see what's most probable if we just break that low, get a retest. What about them launch codes? AMC and GME lost the launch codes. They misplaced them. I think they left them in some kind of like box or present of some sort. I think they lost the codes. I think they're tied up in some Christmas present right now that never got opened. It's facts, dude. I have a gift for you guys. Never gives out. Just never give. I'm gonna tell you guys I have a gift for you, and then be like, it's coming, just all the time. And tell you it's worth millions of dollars, and just it's coming, guys. You know, soon. Not today, but soon. It's always soon. Like if Bitcoin was in the box, it didn't work. Bitcoin's in the box, guys. It's not working. We're going down. USO. This is why I was looking at oil, by the way. Look at this from US Oil. Look at that 30-minute. I looked at this yesterday. Actually, last night. That 2-hour looks like it's about to go, which does worry you that yields can still go. That's why I'm being patient with TLT. This could be a trap in some way, but man, this looks consolidative, and it looks like it wants to go that way right now with that 30-minute divergence. So we could see yields scale up here. See if they're doing it. Yeah, they're doing it. They even beat the high. Okay. So you're kind of back on the bull for yields, which means you're a bear for TLT for a moment. That means TLT most likely needs to take care of business down here or even lower, all the way down to 83, or yeah, about 83, 88. Rough. SPY still not overall breaking down. Let's check Qs. Qs not even close. IWM breaking down. DIA not close. Check on Nvidia. Nvidia still holding. AMD is starting to give it up. Oh, Meta showed the way higher now. That could turn into something bad with that big ass wick. I don't like that. Same thing could kind of be said with Microsoft. Microsoft is really saying I need to go down to these levels. AMC continues to turn down. Whose booty cheeks are getting clapped? Who do you think? Well, right now you're kind of in like these people are all making money. But these guys are now losing, so they're clapping who they want to clap. Did gold turn around fully? No, just very, very dry for gold. Probably have to look at futures for that. This here, trying to go positive. We're looking for that 2-hour to curl up for a lower high from volatility. If we make a higher one, we could still make pathways higher. Depends on how big that reaction is. If it takes us like through the roof, like we get something really bad, that's how volatility remains. But if we just see a spike here, boom, and then we fail, that's perfectly fine. Let's do 5-minute again. We're still lackluster here from the buying. We still have not opened up the full door to downside just yet. We have opened it with your indicators are suggesting it. The indicators are suggesting it. The sell people in here are suggesting it, but we are not seeing it really break down through critical levels that were distinguished this morning. This was distinguished this morning with the positivity. So we need to lose that to go down, which means we need these sellers to step up again if we get a retest before doing so. Because if you retest before doing so, that means you have that chance to do this. You would rather see this. That makes the probabilities of this way higher to reject. By daily MACD on the brink. It really is. Look at this. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I'm aware of how this is shaping up. You needed this pullback, like, you should be experiencing it already. Like, you should be down at like 586, 587, and you should be like setting up the roll into FOMC so that you can burst up higher and you don't get a daily bar that looks like this, right? A daily bar that looks like this starts to say, we can do what? We can go lower. We don't want to see that. Your indicators would point towards lower at that point. So then you're going to really be stressing watching that 30-minute, like, please hold up, right, bulls? Or else you could get a daily pullback down to the weekly move. Oh, God. My goodness. What's the actual low? 589.88. 589.98 right now. You're literally on the brink of it. Did you go into the wick? Oh, you went into the wick. That's literally the last point where I can hold up. The wick, man. Bam. That's so crazy. Oh, they don't want to let it happen. They don't want to let it happen. They're like, nah. They're like, nah. GME is looking like it might lose the critical level. AMC is trying to lose that level in the 30-minute right now. That is a 30-minute level, by the way. The 358 is the 30-minute level. So you don't want to close below that. You're literally 1 cent from closing there. Come on, make that second push. Second push. Give us this. Actually, do this first. Go wham, then go do it. It's not going to, which means we can remain bullish. As long as it's kind of like a fight between bulls and bears now. Bulls. Bears will be here. So this is where we have to break through. You got to break through this bar and make a new high. Not what you want to see so far. Bears still have a chance. It's just they have to step up again towards that 591.80. They flash down and show the low. That would be nice. But the probabilities only increase here when you make the new low. Only up. As of right now, that's what's suggested. This is where it gets very, I would say, very even, maybe even 50-50 right here. But you would give the edge to the bulls, so you would say maybe like 40-60, 40% bears, 60% bulls. Want to peek at Netflix? We can go look at Netflix real quick. Ooh, see that one as well. Looks like at least 30-minute pullback. If not a full reversal here in daily pullback. That's literally what I see for Netflix at the moment. The way it holds up higher is it just turns down on a 30-minute and it holds up right at that gap fill. Worst case, it has to hold up at gap fill, in my opinion, like 1.185. Timed your calls pretty good on that wick down. Yeah, because you literally went into the wick, right? So you pay attention to fair value and you pay attention to the last wick. And you're like, we can go all the way down to there for a serious retest. And that's a serious retest right now. So the edge is to the bulls, at least till we get to here. Then it starts to become like very 60-40. Especially if you make the new high. If you make the new high, it's just we're going up, right? Unless it's just flash up, sell. Right? Then our low becomes this one. So sort of smart you got out of SoFi. Yeah, I wanted to announce that I got out of SoFi. I saw this. This is what I saw. I didn't see the break of the low, but I never saw the new high. And I saw what? These sellers step in right at the top, right towards what? This little gap that's kind of sneaky up there. And I just went, no, I don't like these wicks. And I just go, I'm out. I think I got out like in here. Made my little 10%, was like, fudge. Yeah, I just see too much risk of 30 minutes turning down. Notice that that SoFis and stuff are rotating first, okay? And then they could be the first ones to rotate back up, weirdly enough. Palantir, like Palantir. Palantir did it kind of first. Like, do we not see that Palantir had a solid drop yesterday of like 5%, 5.5%? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Oh, reject, do it. Show the low, show the low, show the low, show the low. Yeah. No, it's retesting the low. See, we'd have to look at 1 minute now to see the direction for right here. On the 5 minute, you're still looking like, hey, are we going to hold in that wick? Are we going to keep going up? Kind of want to take out this high in here. Probably want to take out this one. Good stuff. GME's tossing its good blah. So is everything else, though. So it's moving with the market. I don't think that's your moment for it, though. Like, if you're talking early stages of squeezing, yeah, early stages of squeezing, I don't think you really saw this kind of movement. This is not squeeze behavior anymore. Because you're not like wicking down or something like that. Like this is like heavy. That's heavy. 32, literally line in the sand, 32. You cross down a 2 hour, it's like done. This is we pull down into, where is it? It's right here. We pull down into like 27 again. We're gonna retest that zone again? No way. Oh well, if it gapped, it can go fill that. It's not. I don't care about 1 minute gaps. We'll see if it holds on the 5, but my goodness, you're losing a lot. You're really depending on the gap towards like 330 now, 337 for AMC. Let's see where IWM's at. Maybe that'll give us a timing here. No, that's got deeper to go too. IWM could stop at like 206, but it could go all the way down to like, literally could go all the way down to like 201. From this level for AMC, how many times do you normally see just a complete reversal? Let's see here. Once, pretty good reversal for a little extended period of time. Over here was the big moment. Then from that standpoint, you did get a second turn up this time, so I know we're using history there, and it doesn't have to be the same, but it could rhyme. So as long as that 30 minutes positive, right, this is where I just kind of chill on it. Still very positive. Damn, people are going call side. Yeah, people are going call side. I could see that from the pricing of the options. Not for AMC, for the SPY, sorry. And type it for EU. Yeah, I'm looking over here. I'm over on my other screen. I don't think we need to pay too close attention to it. I'm just trying to decide if I want to get rid of it or not, but I think it looks, it's like, it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, hey, it's the best it's looked, so I don't really care about the money too much. If it was a bigger position, I would probably be selling that and trying to buy it back like tomorrow. GME lost 32. Not a good sign, man. You're depending on the original buyers down at like 30. Yeah, you're literally dependent on those 30 buyers. Really, the actual level, by the way, is not technically 32. The actual level is, the exact level is 3180, like on the dot, 3180, and we're about to lose that, it seems. So you're going down into what I would call like hope and pray zones. You have a complete like price action pathway just down and down and down and down and down. You just have that. AMC has a clear pathway down. So it's not looking pretty there. We get one more retest of a high here and we dignify like, yeah, we're making a lower high, then that would be like, yeah, we're going down. Maybe for a couple of days. Create some dips for market makers to buy before Nvidia earnings. The dips that usually get bought usually don't take place for like if you're talking a dip, like an actual like dip in the market, like a dip to buy. Usually it takes place over a couple of days. It's usually not just like, oh, okay, 20 minutes and we're done, right? That's like a 5-minute dip. That's like this right now, like say like 30-minute dips here. 30-minute dip would take a day and a half. It would take a day and a half to base out, find the buyers, find those critical levels. I think it would take a day and a half. Like, I don't think you see a 30-minute turn down and then just turn back up and everything's dandy again after like one 30-minute bar. Like, I think it would be more times than not, it is extended for at least a day. The tariffs are back on these levels. He might. We're about to make a low here. If you make a low here, that should be where your stops are if you try to go long. Off that positive green bar, you saw it. Or you wait to see the retest of sellers, right? This was 589.88, 589.84. So if you go retest here and fail, retest and fail is on the table now. That would be in the fair value of this big ass bar. Bam, right there. So you're looking for retest here. You're looking to break through that zone, or if you were long and you're about to say, oh, my stop is here, you can see if you get that reaction and then go out of that play. Or you can, have some balls with it, see if it can make the new high. MACD still overall positive. We'll see if that can actually curl up. Pretty much you would want to retest without curling up the MACD. One tweet though, and it's just rockets. Look at, see AMC? So the 30-minute is going down to those critical levels and it's playing with fire, 100% playing with fire. It's going down into the wick almost. It's like right almost down into it. So I'll be hanging on to that because I'm like, why not? Well, put extended hours on it too. I'd be interested to look at like what extended hours looked like. Because like I said, you can get those upward reactions in extended. Yeah, and you got the upward reaction and extended, and I think a similar thing could happen here, where you extend that to like 136, you extend it again during market hour or before market hours all the way to like 135, and then you dump, right? So for us, that would mean we extend this to like 145, or we drop initially too. That could happen as well, right? It's very 50-50. That's why I don't play earnings. Because as of right now, price action is rejecting from that high. Will it hold, Richard? I don't know. We'll find out. I think we're looking for a 5-minute retest, so if you get a 5-minute retest and fades, ooh, you're looking at lower prices again. VIX called this entire move so far. Look below on the rising trend line. Been down ever since. Yeah, you're on that 2-hour. It's on the 2-hour, isn't it? Yeah, it's on the 2-hour. It's the 2-hour higher low. Now, this should be the reaction. If we're going to remain bullish, then VIX should make a lower high, not a higher one. VIX should make a lower high. If it makes divergence, it makes divergence, but it's more credible with a lower high from the 2-hour here. So that means like a day and a half sell-off, right? That's what you want. You want like a day sell-off for the 30-minute to get where? Way down there. I would still look for those retests for now, though. Hi-ho, hi-ho. Off to trade we go. People still getting pretty bullish there. Shit, man. If you don't have to retest the sellers, that'd be crazy. It could be, but you just have a pretty open way down now for your really short time frames, so we have to wipe that out. You need the 30 minutes to see a massive buy here. So you need to blow through, like you literally have sellers to get through all the way from 374 all the way up to $4, to 401 to be technically exact. 374 to 401. You have just sellers. So you got to break through all of those. And usually when you break through like this, you have a high likelihood to retest and go lower. Now, after you go lower, if it's corrective, we can see if it takes out that high, and then it can change. But for now, yeah, this is exactly what you need to see to start a downtrend. This means now we can potentially even look at our 30-minute and see if everything remains good. And then if we see anything change, like we see this start to go up, we can look for that retest in this big-ass wick. But as of right now, 30-minute is suggesting down again. Oh, the 5-minute is, and the 30-minute's been suggesting it the whole time. Bidoo. Let's go look. AMC's trying to come back. Like I said, and also, I think AMC needs to, like GME, they need to run while the market goes down. Oh, okay. Look, 2-hour scale. 2-hour looks bad for Bidoo. Like, I think you're right to be like, hey, is the timing soon for these type of stocks? And I would suggest that as well. I would just be like, yeah, it looks like it's soon. It just might not be right now. You potentially do have the opportunity to go much lower for Bidoo first. You see this. This is just a complete wipeout here where you are very likely to try to get up there and then just reject down and go lower. And then at these points down here, if you start to lose this, what do you look for? That roll lower again. Okay, so it has that pathway down. But if you pay attention to this for the next few weeks and it starts to shape up divergence, you could find one of those opportunities where it starts to do this, right? So you look for those divergences around this time, and the MACD will be showing you that, right? Or a higher low, right? Just as good. This is your higher low over here. So this is, with all the selling pressure above, I'm inclined to really wait for a higher low, wait for a divergence for Bidoo. I think you just have a couple of weeks, though. I don't think it's bad to be looking at a stock that's going down and seeing like, okay, it's getting its first curl up. What can I wait for? All right, down, down, down. I'm inclined to think we'll retest those sellers again. I don't think bulls would just give up like it's nothing. I don't think you saw these wipeout bars, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, sometimes. Check on the Nvidia making the lower high. See if it can make a higher low again. Testicle fortitude. Huevos. No, it's fine. Okay, you'll potentially have another stab at it here. If we see a quick reaction up and a quick reaction down, that's your opportunity to stab at it, and then you go stop there, right? Or that's where you're paying attention, right? I don't like to put my stops in the market. I think they know where they're at, so they can just sweep it for a second. I don't trust those, but yeah, you are the 5-minute pathway down is there. You have to wipe all of that out to be back to bullish. Can happen. This is the 5-minute, by the way. Everything is still bullish across the board. We're just talking about how 5-minute goes into downtrend, and this is one of the first steps. So now we have that potential. Toasty. Yeah, I'll keep my eye on VIX as well. The only thing bad about VIX on that, like, say, 15 minutes, it failed to bust through that high, didn't it? Yeah, it failed to bust through the high so far. It really seems like, hey, this thing wants to turn around. Maybe that keeps going on the shorter term. We got to see if it makes a new high in the next, like, 30 minutes or so. Go, fill gap, go up. Fill gap at 2035 on the 15. Yeah. If VIX can make a new high, though, that would just be that's what's going on is this right now. So VIX doesn't make the new high, then makes the new high. And you just see this start to go down. It can keep retesting on the way down. That would be cool. Yeah, it's one to keep your eye on, though. I don't mind it monumental. It's just I would give it a little bit of time. I don't think it's bad to, like, put it on your radar and say, hey, I could look at this in like a week or two, and or just check in on it like once a day and be like, hey, do I see that 2-hour rolling yet? Nope, not the time yet. Okay, 2 hours rolling. Okay, now I'm gonna look for that higher low. Now I'm gonna, wherever price is, you're like, all right, now I'm gonna look for that higher low. All right, now I'm gonna look for that divergence. Bro, I was looking at this and I was just like, man, where does it want to get to? And look, it literally gets like so close. Thanks for everything. Hey, Monumental, you didn't have to do that, man, but I appreciate it. Thank you. You got the strong arm. Maybe I got to go to the gym now. No, thank you for that, Monumental. You're too nice. Thank you, thank you. We'll go buy baby girl a new animal or something. Not a live one. we don't. These big dogs are enough for me, man. Okay, Vix is trying. Vix is trying. We would like Vix to make the new high, then get retest. That would be like best case. You think SMI will not go to weekly high today? I think this is your shot right here for you to do so. I think this is your shot. But you've opened the pathway down. So weekly high, you're there, by the way. Like, right, you treat these as zones. You should treat it as like a little mini zone and give it like 50 cents this way, 50 cents that way, or even $1, and just treat it like a zone. That way, if you see anything in that general area, you know what to do. You'd prefer it to be outside, but okay. For this has just opened up the waves down. It has opened up the waves down. So even if you do this, it'll be a higher percentage to reject at this moment for the 5-minute. Now 5 minutes do crazy things. So if you go like this is why I say you put the stop there if you take something in here, right? That's like day trading. But if you cross through there, you don't want to be in it because then you're going to retest lower and go higher. It can flip back and forth on a 5 minute very quickly. Just tap, tap, tapping it. This is an easy market? No, this made it a little easier. What's happened this morning has made it easier. What made it more complex would be still if you continue bullish when you need a 30-minute pullback, right? Because I would say like the opportunity for in the future is still not obvious. It's a 30-minute pullback, but where that pullback will be is more obvious now than it would be if we would go higher. So this breaking that low gives us some sort of direction, right? This is the most likely direction now. That can change very quickly in this kind of market. I'm not inclined to like bet huge money on these type of moves right now. That's why I took my risk out of the market. You heard me say I'm selling my SoFi now. There is no reason for me to try to, in a complex time, say it's simple. It's becoming a little less complex as we speak. But all this 5 minute has to do is make a new high and it's complex again. So yeah, the market's been super interesting. I don't like it's been very, very, very interesting for like all of 2025. And so I've had to be on my toes pretty much all of 2025. We've been able to navigate around it very well. But there are times where we're like, ooh, there's a few things to be aware of right now, and you're in one of those times. It's starting to try to clear it up a little bit, but still turns out to be a complex thing if we go make a new high. I want IWM. I would love IWM all the way down to 201.50, 201.60 actually, 202.50, and 203.50. 203.50 looks like the better area. SPY, similar levels, right? 584, like on the dot. 583, and then gap fill, I would say at 579 might be too much. Yeah, he's just like many traders, this is why like people ask like why are we doing things differently right now? For that exact reason. For that exact reason, Jake. If you keep using the same tools when the environment is completely different in a time where your tools aren't the best at getting it right, then you're going to sit there and be like, the thing is, you're not going to be like wrong. You're going to be slightly wrong for a long time, for a longer period of time. And so what we've been doing is just focusing on price action for that reason and focusing on our weekly, monthly moves, focusing on, hey, does this low break, right? Those are the things we're watching. Oh, we see a divergence. We can use those skills. Okay, volatility is above 20. Let's turn back into that for a second. Okay, now we see an upside move. Okay, well, now we're going with price action again. It is good to have a wider range, and we're going to hopefully spread that range out for a lot of you guys who already bought that course down there, which is still 80% off for just literally a couple more days. We're going to advance that by showing you price action. So when times where you're like, my MACD is not working right, like nothing's working out for this MACD, I'm seeing 5 divergences, you can pay more attention to price action and have a better outlook, and we'll teach you how to do it. You have, like, as things change, you change. You cannot continue to wear shorts and a t-shirt in December. You cannot continue to wear a big ass coat and a sweatshirt and a shirt under that when it's 100 degrees outside. You have to take the temperature of the market and see if you need to change what you're doing. And so we changed, and notice it helped us. Did it not help us to be changing here and understanding that's not bearish? That's all we said. There's divergence above it. There's everything. If we would have been following those, we all would have been in puts. And the one thing I was like, this ain't bearish. It can go bearish, but it's not bearish yet, so I'm not going in puts. In fact, I said, fuck it, I'm going in calls. because that looks like the price action is holding up there. We're going into a Monday. We have potential for news. Boom, right? We're doing the same thing, except down here, we could flip back to our old ways for a second because volatility increased. We flip back to our old ways. We benefit from it. We go right into, uh-oh. Okay, we can still maybe use our swing trading skills and say, hey, the MACD positioning says pullback is very likely, but it's making a bunch of squeeze-like divergences. So let's just not say, oh, this is very, very bad. This is still very bullish, but it can experience a pullback to 584 that can be a little bit aggressive, right? But am I going to short to 584? Well, maybe not, because we just took out this high, right? We're using price action to dictate a little more of what we do here. This short will be potentially good money, and you might be able to take it using your skills, and that's perfectly fine if you're comfortable to do so. I'm speaking to people at all different levels on this channel. So therefore, since they're at all different levels, I don't want some new person to think like, yes, I short every single short opportunity during an uptrend. I want you to focus on the bullish things because the bullish ones are easy to pull off. And a lot of the time it's just bullish things showed up, go up. That's how the market works. Bullish things play out a lot better a lot more of the time. Bearish things happen, but they can hold up better than most of the time the bullish moves that just like sky through the roof. That's just the market we live in. So we're going through that price action now to just be like, dictate where we are. Are we going to turn down this 30-minute? Okay, price action is suggesting now that we can. Therefore, we can pay attention to where we could hold up. Where we could hold up is right here, pretty much at this high, 586.50. Where we could hold up below that is in the wick or at our daily expected move towards 584. And after that, it starts to get risky once you lose 581.38, 581.40. So now we can know that and go into it going, okay, now we can look for things like, hey, a 30-minute swing trade to the upside. Now we can look for, hey, is the 30-minute breaking down too far? Is the 5-minute just tanking, getting a reaction up with price action and tanking again to get down to gap fill? Because that starts to open the door to downside as well. Like you have to be very, very understanding of the environments where certain things work and certain things don't work as well. They most likely will work to a point, right? But you need to understand when they're going to work very easily, very simply, very obviously, very well. And divergences at this exact time, they work kind of well for the 5-minute, but if you're paying attention to it for the 30, you just have nothing going on your chart for you. So you like flipping back and forth will keep you from being kind of wrong for like a week, right? It means you're paying attention to risk a little bit too early. There's risk, but you're in it a little too early. We could still be at the phase of too early right now. All that has to happen is we go like this, and then we go like this. And that can happen. So that's why we watch a 5-minute chart right now. We say, oh, we're not even getting that retest of those buyers way up here yet. So we might just head what? We might just head lower. Right? 5 minutes not oversold, anything like that. You can see a little waterfall moment, then you retest that, then you head lower. Like the bulls just took back control. So it's bullish, according to price action. The only things you have are like volatility. It looks like it wants to curl up, but we could see a 30-minute pullback. Until that changes, we're going to be bullish looking for a dip. Yeah, 587.50. Let's see 30-minute level, though. I still like this high pretty much. Like right here, 586.66 looks pretty interesting to me as the first level. But if we get no bounce here, it just means the move's going to extend. Right? If it's a big 5-minute move, it just means we see something like that. Like 3 push down. Looks corrective, right? Even for a 5-minute, that would be corrective, and that would go down all the way into potentially even towards end of day. And that would mean we might be curling down the MACD on the daily scale today, so not a good sign. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. We've got about 10 more minutes left in this live stream before we have to head out. I'll be right back, like literally 30 seconds. Give me a sec. Like, I bet you FX Evolution is watching for the daily pullback, and he's completely right to watch for that, by the way. AMC to $2 tomorrow, baby. It could go to like $3 tomorrow. Let's see how low it could get. AMC could go down to like 260, 250. The announcement everyone was looking for flopped. TLT still has room to go down. I agree with you. I agree. I think you could even see this go down for a day or so. We are seeing the yield spike up right when I clicked over to it. The yield, we're looking for that to get to something like 4.567. I know, Richard. I am looking forward to that. That does make my day. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's fucking hilarious. So I would like what kind of shit are we gonna see in that thumbnail today? What's going on in Japan, for example? TLT can go way down. Yeah, I like my 8250 level always, though, if it gets really bad. Oh, he's always buy everything every week, every weekend. We're gonna see, oh, Roaring Kitty come out or something. It's like, dude, it just like an analyst does not tell you that someone is going to tweet. Like, that is not analysis. MSTR. Let me look over here. Good old MSTR. Lower high on that one. 30-minute lower high to be exact. Actually, I think it was a 2-hour. Yeah, 2-hour lower highs. So you made divergence, then you made multiple lower highs. So that says your daily pullback is very likely. Where could the daily pullback go to? You would first be looking at 346. After that, you would potentially be looking all the way down towards 300. So 346 and 300 for MSTR. Which means what? Bitcoin's probably turning down, right? Yeah, Bitcoin just made the, is that the 4-hour lower high? Yeah, Bitcoin's making the 4-hour lower high. You dictate a new low here in your daily chart. You're going to get that daily pullback. Remember I talked about a daily pullback? When we got past like 110K, I was like, watch for a daily pullback outside of that zone. It can boom, but if you see a lower high in any way, that's where it'll dip down to like 98.2K. It could dip all the way down to 86.85K. I think that's too much, though. I think you want like 97 to 98. Let's look at a discount right now. I'm not inclined to buy anything yet until I see if the market is going to go all the way to 584 and stop. The truth about SoFi is it's very, very good. And this is the potential level where you could make decisions. It actually is. But you also have one of those levels at $13. And then you ultimately have this level of about 1280 for SoFi. So I'm not inclined to really say like, oh, yes, that has to be good right now. If I was doing anything, I'd be looking for any signs of turnaround. And you don't see any signs of turnaround for SoFi right now. And if you get another push higher from the 5-minute and another push lower, I think you'll end up actually creating a counter trend move that then fails and takes you to 1280. So I'm not inclined to believe like SoFi is going to be good, and that's why I sold it this morning. I tried to say it a couple times so people know. Yeah, IWM wants a reaction here, though. That's for sure. Probably to 207 would be interesting. 207 on the dot would be interesting. And for SPY, 591.44. This retest. So now we'll get the retest and see if we can fail. Hopefully we get that retest now. We see if we can fail. Technically need to be watching 1 minute for that, but I ain't doing that. Look at that sheet. My name's not Matt. You always call me Matt. My name's not Matt. My name's Luke. Bro, Richard, you were a day late and a dollar. You were a day early and a dollar short. That shit went up a whole dollar before you were any kind of right. Don't sit there and be that guy. Now that it's turned out, be that guy that comes into chats when like those people that like are super mega bears all the time, and the market's going up and they disappear, and then a 1% down day on the SPY and they're all back. That's what it is. I got fucking scams calling me this morning. I used my fractal. Shut the fuck up, Richard. I like this little battle. We need a trade off. We need a trade off between Richard and heel toe using not AMC, or actually only using GME. Who can do it better? They go on holiday when they win. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't short the low or something and then lose money and go, only GME. You can't trade AMC on it. You can't day trade AMC very well. You probably can if you just like, you always have that sell in during the day for if like it spikes for a moment and you get to sell your contracts to someone really fast and make like 200% really fast. But GME you can actually like trade. AMC is a lot more difficult. You want to look for these times. These times are when you take trades, weirdly enough. Richard's correct to be trying to do something to the downside at this time, and you were correct to try to do something to the upside back at $3. So yeah, day trading at AMC is a rough business. Like even I can notice that. Like even my fun account's like scared as shit to day trade AMC, like to take like a weak option for AMC and say, I'm very confident. QQ for tomorrow. What do you think, Luke? I think you're going to see volatility increase today in some way, either decrease dramatically or increase dramatically. You have too big of daily expected moves and you just tagged a weekly expected move for me to say, oh yeah, today's going to be just peachy and easy and turning up and turning back down and turning up and turn. It can because of FOMC, right? You can see reactions in both ways. But I think you're just going to see volatility increase or decrease dramatically after today. 1 minute AMC challenge. Yeah, okay. You need like, the thing about AMC is you need to day trade at least like a 30-cent move every time or a 20-cent move every time, and it only moves by like 5 cents normally. So if you took it like for a full year and tried to day trade it, it would just be so difficult. You'd probably have some really good ones at certain times, but all right, let's see. We're overall negative here. So in order to go up here, we have to beat the new high. We have to wipe out all those sellers. As of right now, we are looking for retest to go lower from here, right? Pretty much right where that yellow line is where you can watch. If you take all of that back and you make a new high, you look for the dip and it goes higher. It's a big one, isn't it? It's anywhere from right here. The lowest point would be like 591.44. You're never guaranteed a retest. It just happens a majority of the time. Especially a move that's dragging out like this. I'm really inclined to see a retest here. And you just took back this. So you see how you take this back right here? That could be your 1 minute. You probably want to take this back on the 1 minute, but we're not going to do that today. And also, it's 10:05. So I got to hop off, guys, but I will be back on later today, right, for the live show. And we will have a YouTube video for you tonight. Make sure to join us later today for the live show at the end of the day. It looks like AMC is about to potentially get that 5-minute retest as well. So it might just be following the market at this point. We'll have to see. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Really do appreciate it. If you need to go through some stuff, you can go through the beginning of the video. We're really looking for, can we end up with that 30-minute pullback? And as of right now, you can get that retest. If you fail that and you see another red bar below this, a negative red bar below the 9, you are very likely to see some kind of downward trend. Maybe that lasts until FOMC. We would have to see if that is going to continue after FOMC. So we will be here later in the day to hang out with you guys. All right. Stay risk averse, right? Make sure you're managing risk in some way, or at least have a plan for if you're taking a trade. If that plan goes wrong, a plan for that. Trade like water is going to be the assessment here, because this is one of those times where you really want to be following like price action at this point, and just understanding your indicators are leaning towards this, but it doesn't have to happen. So shorting isn't necessarily, like, I would say, the best. If you want to, I'd see retest first and then grab some kind of position. So thank you guys so much for being here today. I will see you guys in a little bit later on. Peace out.